And here we go. Well, almost. I still got some stuff to. All right, let me fix this. Push this over here like that. There. Okay. Hey, Wolverine. All right. I think we got everything set to go. I know the streams have been few and far between. I apologize, guys, but I'm sure you see why with the way things have changed over at the YouTube channel and how many videos we're posting now and everything. Of course, that's been taking up my time. Oh, that's so good. And who we got coming in here? Tramar? Says I accidentally clicked. Oh, Tramari. Well, you might want to be careful. That might be an accident you may need to rectify. Travis is here. And Jeff is in. The Cleveland baseball team will have an October to remember. Well, if they can get through this first round, maybe. I think they're playing now, right? I think they were up on Tampa Bay. They got Tampa Bay. Hi, Bobby. And Dominic's here. Hey, Willie, good to see you, pal. I'm doing good, Jeremy. Yeah, this, again, I never going to miss Free For All Fridays, but it's just been light on streams just because of the stuff we've started over at the YouTube channel. And, hey, Red Wolf and Mortem. Oh, and I'll tell you, it's the eighth inning. I think, like I say, last I saw, I thought, Cleveland was up, but hey, Zuchen. And I'll tell you guys too, and I'll mention this repeatedly. Now this, it seems like for the most part, everybody or the majority at the YouTube channel are enjoying the content we're doing now with bringing over Rick and Morty. The only one, and certainly, I just watched episode 3 of that. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That was the best one so far. And Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. The only one that's been kind of a flop over there has been Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was not well received, but I'm going to be trying different shows. I've seen a few others that you guys have suggested and stuff that I think would be interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch how you guys respond to them, and those will be the shows that will stick. But again, Yu-Gi-Oh has been the only one so far, and it was a pretty significant flop over at the YouTube channel. And I base that partially on overall views, but mostly on the one thing that YouTube does well is give us good information on our videos, good details. And the watch time on that one was just terrible. People just lost interest. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I got tickle in my nose. Shelby says, terrible day so far. Oh, sorry to hear that. But at least it's Free For All Friday. Right. Right. Absolutely. Red Wolf says, guess who got a concussion from a brain buster? Ouch. Yeah. You got to be careful with those concussions, Red Wolf. I was going to say fortunate. I don't know. You guys tell me, is this a fortunate thing? I'm fortunate that for whatever reason, I'm a person that can absorb a lot of them without, at least to this point, any overly significant damage. But the thing about concussions are, and I learned this because of having had so many, this comes from doctors, it's not stuff I would know. The thing about concussions is they affect everybody differently. Again, I've had a bunch, and other than the post-concussion syndrome from day to day, I don't have too many ill effects other than the short-term memory being obliterated. But I know people who have had one and have it affect them for the rest of their lives. So you got to be careful with that till you see how you're going to react to it. Josh says, hey, Curtis, what spell does Hogwarts use to prevent its students from getting pregnant? Fetus? Deletus. Hey, Rover, good to see you. I didn't see anything other than a live stream with touching tips in the title, and I just clicked. Yeah. Well, I'm with you there. If you see anything that is promoting, recommending, whatever, the touching of tips, you have to get involved. I would agree. I would agree. I'm liking it here, Jacob. He says, how are you liking North Carolina? I'm enjoying it. My wife is still having a lot of difficulty dealing with being away from family, which I do too, but I expected that moving here. I knew that would be the hard part. But as far as North Carolina itself, it's awesome. It's gorgeous out today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go right after this stream. My wife's gone right now. Her and some friends are having an outing. And they met halfway because they're from New York. And I'm going to go see if I can arrange something, get some electrical, get a, yeah, an extension cord. That's it. See, there's the memory. An extension cord out to our front yard so I can put her little blow up pumpkin thing out there. She just loves her holidays, but it's so freaking gorgeous out today. Right. Ryan says touching tips is not optional. Correct. It is requisite. Willie says about Evangelion on Blu-ray. I hear it's really wholesome. Yeah, I've heard. No, probably won't be playing any Yakuza today, Okita. Again, that's slowed up just because the change in content at the YouTube channel. Those videos I'm posting there now take a long time to prepare. And particularly that, whenever for instance, whatever goes up there, whether it's Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or Rick and Morty, whatever, I not only edit it for YouTube, but I make the unedited version for the Goosh as well, for the Patreon as well. So there's a lot of time goes into them, and that's what's kind of waylaid the live streams. Rover says I touch tips with people before I hug them personally. I think that's a good strategy. I would agree. Luke says, can you please not say electrical and blow up in the same sentence? I'm in a mood today. I understand, Lex. Dominic says, hey, Curtis, what are your thoughts on California banning the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035? My thoughts are California government is good. All governments are quite capable and ready to make stupid policy at the drop of a hat. It's all fine and good, except there are so many questions to be answered, like, is the power grid going to handle it? And right now, you have California making the big push on electric cars, and we all see the videos and pictures of cars lined up for what seems to be almost miles, waiting to get into supercharge stations and stuff. Making it go all electric by 2035 might work to some degree if you build the infrastructure for it first, which I doubt they will, because things like this are grandiose plans. It's like, so Newsom can now say, look, I am a friend to the planet. Do you see what I have done here? By 2035, we're going to be all electric. Well, no, you're not, because it's not going to be feasible. That's quite possibly the outcome. But it's going to make you look good in the short term, and that's all that politicians care about. So if he's saying they're banning the sale of gas-powered cars, I get that. What is he going to do about like deliveries that come in and stuff? So are you saying, there's a lot of questions to be answered. If somebody comes to visit, even if you go to visit California, you're not going to be allowed in with your gas-powered car. There's just so many things. I know that hasn't been said. It's not, there can't be any gas-powered cars on the road, but I'm saying, what is the next step in all that? He's putting the cart before the horse, but that's typical. Lick says, did you see the Mario movie? I think I just got a package delivery. Dog's going nuts. You asked, did I see the Mario movie? And it's trailer. Licks, it's funny because, she said it again. Chris Pratt, sure was Chris Pratt, and since you're the world's biggest Mario fan, I figured we needed your opinion. Yeah, right. I liked it. As you'll find out, it's funny you bring that up, Licks. As soon as the stream's over, it's already been recorded and edited, uploaded. I'm posting my reaction to it over the YouTube channel. And yes, I did like it a lot. I'm a big Bowser fan, so that was cool. I always use him a lot of time. My favorite Mario game is Kart, and he drives my cart all the time. Good old Bowser. Nacho says it doesn't help that the power grid won't be able to handle the cars. Exactly. We're going to need a revamp on that before anything else gets done. And Nacho's 100% right. And that's why it's bullshit. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but you shouldn't even talk about that until you've upheld your end. As Nacho says, until you've fixed your electrical infrastructure, so there's even the remote possibility of doing that. That should be the first responsibility. But again, it sounds good. Now he's going to collect a lot of brownie points from the save the planet echo chamber, and that's what he wanted. Yoshi on Mario Kart. Space Kid used to use Yoshi here and there. Josh says, does touching tips count as bad touch, or is it case by case? Well, it's perspective, Josh. For me, no, it could never be bad touch. But for some people, it could. They're just misguided. Unga Bunga. Now, that's a good name. It says, hey there, Spaz. I've been watching your content since Dick Figures. Your dicks. Big fan. Unfortunately, though, I've been really busy with school, so I haven't seen your recent stuff. How are you? And doing good. Glad you're here. Yeah, Dick Figures was some great shit. It really, really was. Rover says, I'd like an electric car if I didn't have to sit for an hour at a service station waiting for it to charge, turning every 8-hour journey I make into a 10-hour. Right. And that's why it's so ridiculous. We're only selling electric cars in 2035. Well, how are we going to power them? I said we're only selling electric cars by 2035. Now worship me. That's what that amounts to. It's asshole. Asshole stuff. Happy Touchy Banana Day, everyone. Yeah, social media. Good old Touchy Banana. I like that. Nacho says touching tips is establishing yourselves as equals. I think that's a very fair assessment. Yes. It's just it's just a friendly thing to do. Hey, Big Green. Big Green says, I want to strangle Chris Pratt, but the trailer was good. Yeah, weren't the visuals were amazing. The visuals were really cool. And I like the individual scenes. I like the throwing the snowballs at Bowser and you give up. So yeah, no, I think it looks really good. Excuse me. Rover says it, yes, meaning touching tips is equal. It's equivalent to a handshake between gentlemen. It's a very caring, special, friendly means of greeting one another, I believe. No, I would think so. Sarah says, once a spider on my balcony was walking on my leg. Yikes. Oh, see, now that doesn't really bother me that much. My wife would lose her shit. She's terrified of spiders. I did a jump scare and then the spider ran away. Actually, I like spiders, but they scare me sometimes. Poor spider, I didn't see it again. No, my wife hates them. Terrified of them. She doesn't even have to see them. I mean, if you just suggest to her that there's a spider in the vicinity, she'll freak. Rover says, do Americans use the term Japs eye? Not me. I've never heard that one. I don't know what that means. I mean, maybe some do. I haven't heard of it. You're right, Ryan. Where do people get the electricity to charge their cars? Coal plants. The whole thing is ridiculous in that, and again, it's just done for political expediency. Everybody's all concerned, or all the tree huggers are very, very concerned about getting electric cars to be the dominant on the market, which is fine and good, but you gotta have the infrastructure for them. It doesn't make any sense to be pushing them if your electrical grid can't handle the extra load. And it can't right now, but they don't care because it's the appearances that the politicians are after. Nolan says electric cars waiting for miles to charge. Not surprising from the same people who want to mimic the healthcare systems that will put you on 3-year wait lists to receive your free care. Yeah, well, that's the thing that always gets me though, Nolan, is whenever anybody, and I'm with you, I know exactly what you're alluding to by putting free in quotes. When people call it free healthcare, nothing is free. If somebody says something about, well, I'm for free healthcare, I immediately dismiss them as, in my mind, as not knowing what they're talking about. Because there is no such thing as free. That's not even an option. Obviously, it's not free. So as soon as anyone says that, it's like, okay, I kind of tune out to their opinions because it's like you're not informed on anything. Oh, it's used for your dick hole? I've never heard that, Rover. I've never heard that. Big Green says his few lines is Mario. He doesn't like Chris Pratt. Big Green had mentioned dragged down what otherwise was a great trailer for me. Mario just sounds like Chris Pratt now. I will say this: when I heard Mario speak in the trailer, I can't say I hated it. I was surprised by it. It didn't sound like what I thought it would. It didn't need to go full Captain Lou Albano, but I think I could get used to it. I don't know. But overall, as you said, everything else I saw in the trailer made up for it anyway, though. I thought it looked really good, especially visually. Lick says there's a species of worm who decide mating partners by having dick sword fights, and then the loser becomes the bottom. I'm of the opinion that humans should follow their example. That there are so many, and you say things like that makes me think this, Lex, is there are so many species that are just more fun than us as humans. Those worms, for instance. Brian says, have you looked into the Cyberpunk game or the Edge Runner anime yet, Curtis? I really want to see experience the top-notch storytelling of both. Actually, the Cyberpunk game, just because of its popularity currently, is on my list of ones I am going to test out at the YouTube channel, watch an episode of, and see what you guys think. The Edge Runner anime, that would all come down to, what people vote in at the Goosh. But the Cyberpunk game, just because it's been so popular, it kind of piqued my interest. So as I said, it's looking like Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be a no-go at the YouTube channel. Rick and Morty's a definite. We're definitely going to finish Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. This is just based on everybody's reaction to the videos at YouTube. And then I'll be trying out other things too to see what people have an interest in. Be trying out that Cyberpunk. We'll definitely probably be trying out at some point The Office and several others. Willie says, actually, I'm a production assistant on a film set right now for a classmate, and the actress is gorgeous. Nice. I'd love to ask her out, but I need to be professional. Yeah, that's... Well, at some point, though, Willie, production is going to wrap. And then it's fair game. Red Wolf says, people mad at Mario haven't seen Velma yet. Yeah, what's the deal there, Red Wolf? What's going on? I just read a headline. I don't know any details. I think this is what you're referencing. That in something upcoming, Velma is verified to be a lesbian. Not that we didn't all know that she was anyway. Is that what you mean? Because I didn't read an article. I just saw a headline about that. Rover says, I couldn't get as invested in Edge Runner as everyone else seems to. The connections weren't sold well enough for me. It'll be interesting to see. Gimster says, according to some reports, someone made an electric car that keeps a permanent charge in the 40s, but both the car and blueprints went missing. Yeah, I've heard of stuff like that before, Gimster. That there's, and that back would have been not that early, but maybe in the 70s. I think it was San Diego State I think it was San Diego State, but somewhere on the West Coast. Apparently, there was a genius professor in engineering, and him and his class got together and created a car with a perfectly functional gas engine, and it was getting 200 miles a gallon. And according to what I remember reading, it was a long time ago. There was nothing overly extravagant about it. It was something that could be mass produced, and it just disappeared. Whoop. It was gone, and everybody stopped talking about it. So I had heard that before too, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, do you know how many billions of dollars are on the line in the oil industry? Shelby says, why would people be upset? It's very clear Velma has always been at least bisexual. Yeah, that's my take, Shelby. I mean, you guys know me. I've watched Scooby-Doo, as I said, wasn't one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, but I've been watching it since I was a little kid. So I've been watching Scooby-Doo for over 50 years. And it was always pretty obvious to me. I always thought Velma was a lesbian. So I can't imagine why anybody would get upset about that. Because when people get upset about stuff, it's like, well, because you're changing a character for just to be woke or whatever. And I agree with that. I hate when they do that. But this wouldn't be a case of that. Velma has always exhibited stereotypes of being lesbian. Unga Bunga says, have you gotten into Berserk? I've seen all of Berserk. 96, yeah. If so, was it 96, 97, but the early version. I loved it. It was disturbing and creepy as hell, but really enjoyed it. Brian says, curious on your thoughts about Biden pardoning federal marijuana possession charges. That's in the I don't care category for me. That's all right. I mean, my big thing on marijuana use has always been the same since there was even a whisper of legalizing it or anything. It's not my thing, but I don't give a damn what people do. I don't care if it makes somebody feel good, relaxes them, whatever, that's fine. As long as there are going to be major, stiff penalties for those who abuse it. And by abuse it, I mean getting good and blazed up, going out driving around with your reaction time impaired and hurting somebody else. Because they still don't come down hard enough on drunk drivers, even though they keep saying they're gonna. So that's my only issue. I got no problem with them making it legal or anything along those lines. Just make sure that there are repercussions to be faced if you can't use something responsibly. It's not fair to the victims, that's all. Oh, okay. Red Wolf says it's woke. The lesbian part isn't the problem. Is it overly woke? Well, Hollywood has been leaning hard. Well, I don't have to tell you guys that recently on making sure they stay as woke as possible, and it has not been paying off financially. So I don't know how long they can continue. We'll see. Oh, excuse me. Nacho says the problem for me is they clearly don't want this to even feel Scooby-Doo adjacent. Really? Tell me you hate what you're making without telling me. Oh, so you're saying they just absolutely departed from what made Scooby-Doo. Oh, well, I would agree. I would have no interest. Again, I wasn't a huge Scooby-Doo fan anyway, but I'm not interested in a brand new take on Scooby-Doo. If you're going to make something about that, relation named with that franchise, I want it to be about that franchise. Oh, yeah, because if it goes that far, I'm with you guys. As far as Velma being a lesbian, it's like, duh. Alex says, I don't think it's woke. Scooby-Doo has always been weird like that. It's a good series for getting experimental. Shout out to the time they gave Fred a trap fetish. I will agree with that, too, with what Lex is saying. Scooby-Doo's always been odd. I mean, even if you go back to the original Scooby-Doo of my era, there was a lot of innuendo and stuff just below the surface of that. It was very, very subculture-ish from the start. Rover says HBO are making Velma, and Warner Brothers won't give them the rights to Scooby-Doo, and they didn't want him as he was too comedy for what they wanted. Oh, okay, it was too over the top comedy. Oh, okay, I see. Willie says, I've always been Team Daphne. Gingers for the win. I gotta admit, even as a kid, Daphne nor Velma, neither one were high on my list of cartoon hotties when I was younger. I mean, Daphne was okay, but there were way hotter chicks in cartoons. Again, even back in the days of the boring cartoons I watched. Lex says, I like some bisexual representation that isn't forced, and Velma is very good for that. That's true. She fucked Johnny Bravo back in the 90s, and she had a canon girlfriend back in the 2010 show. Oh, really? I didn't know all that. Yeah, like I say, it was always obvious, to me anyway, that Velma's character I thought was a lesbian, but yeah, you could certainly make the case bisexual. So yeah, that part I wouldn't have an issue with. Excuse me, Wolverine says, Shaggy, F off with Scoob, Daphne and Velma with me. Number 84 says, Velma beats Daphne any day. You think so? Yeah, I can't really say, because again, neither one of them did it all that much for me. I will say this, personality-wise, going back to my young days, if I was looking to hang out with, excuse me, one of the two would have definitely been Velma. I like, despite the jinkies, I I liked her personality way better than Velma's. Rick says Fred is the hottest member of Mystery Incorporated. You're wrong if you disagree. I'm not a good judge of dudes' innate hotness, but yes, I would agree with you on that. Brian says I'd rather smoke a bong with Shaggy and Scoob than get bored to death by Velma, and that's actually well put. That was the for me it was more Daphne. Daphne was boring to me. I think that's one of the reasons she never really did it for me. She just was just a mundane character to me. Lick says, remember in the live action movie when they gave Velma a leather Dom outfit? I remember something about that, Licks. I didn't see, there's been so many live action Scooby-Doos. There's been several of them. And I've only seen bits and pieces of all of them because, again, I was just never into the show enough to really pursue it. Was that that had to be during the Freddie Prinze Jr. live action? Big Green says Fred kind of just exists. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and that was true with a lot of Scooby-Doo characters. I think the only ones that had a lot of personality were Scooby and Shaggy. And granted, you know, Shaggy's personality was just Stoner Man, but at least it was a personality. I do. Lizard says, does anyone remember Scrappy-Doo? He was so annoying. He was. He was. That little shit. And again, that goes back to when I was a kid and they first introduced him. And it was... When he first came out, I do remember that. When he first came out, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. He's a funny little guy. And that wore off in about 20 seconds. It's like, yeah, he's in... Get him the fuck out of here. Nacho says, funny about that not liking the comedy of the Scooby himself. Meanwhile, the trailer shows a similar attempt at outlandish comedy. I haven't seen the trailer to this yet. Does it? I haven't seen the trailer to Scooby-Doo. Again, it's something that I would watch. I would give it a try. It's not something I would go out of my way to see. Like this Mario movie coming up. That's interesting enough. I would go out of my way to try and see that. Scooby-Doo, nah. Wolverine says, oh, Rowan was notified of last FFA. She was busy. Oh, that's understandable. Yeah, I've spoken with Rowan. What was it? It was on the in the comment section of one of the videos, I believe. Jester says, when my dad asked me why I love goth girls, I showed him the Hex Girls. He said, I get it now. Then I showed him Sam from Danny Phantom, and now he has a new kink. I think goth is hot. I always have. I always thought that was it's a hot look. It's a hot attitude. Yeah, I've always believed that. Day Baby Boy says, I'm home here in this chatting community. Well, that's good. I like you guys all to feel at home here. Let's see. Sarah says, this year I found about 7 long, 3 short, and 1 tiny peacock feather with a beautiful tiny eye. 3 of the long feathers are so-called tea feathers, which naturally don't have eyes. Hey, Dramas. Billy Joe says, Shaggy is his stoner name, according to Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Exactly right, Rover. He says, we talk about great things like touching tips, a very great thing, animated goth girls, and electric cars. And that's one of the things I love about our chats in general, but especially it seems on Free for All Friday. I mean, I do. I really enjoy that you just never know where we're going next. And any topic may come up, and whatever it may be, we will run with it. Seriously, that's always been a big thing to me. Rosa says, Erling Haaland has at this point scored 14 goals and 3 assists in 8 games in the Premier League. That's the real football equivalent of outscoring Adam Vinatieri at the age of 22. That's cool. Drama says, I found your channel from your DBZA reactions. That's what started all this. DBZA is what got me into anime. I knew nothing about anime, had no real experience with anime before that. And the gang here finally convinced me to watch DBZA, and this became the result. Willie says, Shigo from Kim Possible planted the goth seed for me. Raven strengthened it, and Gwen from Total Drama sealed it. Shigo, I don't know a lot of Kim Possible, so I can't remember that character. Raven, of course, is great goth character. Great dark character, Raven always was. And yes, I will still stand by it. I like Teen Titans Go better than Teen Titans. Sorry. Not sorry. And when I say that, though, I should always put the disclaimer. I do like Teen Titans. I like the original. I just like Go even better. Total Drama, yeah, I know who he's talking about, because I watched, I didn't watch Total Drama in totality, but I saw a lot of pieces of it because Spaz Kid was into it, and that is another one we may try out at the YouTube channel at some point too, as far as reactions. But it was good. What I did see of it was good, and I know the goth character he's talking about. I remember her. Brian says, if they're going to diversify a show or movie, can they make a whole new concept instead of reusing a popular franchise that hasn't already been milked of all its entertainment juices? Doubt it. I agree with you 100%, Brian, and that's the common complaint is Hollywood in general has just become so devoid of any new and original ideas. And the thing is, if you want to represent a certain part of the populace, if you want to have a strong, let's say, trans representation, why try and take something that's already established and people have a feel for, an understanding of it, an attachment to, and change it? Write something new. Make a good, strong trans character the forefront of your story. But they've run out of ideas. They did years ago. Jesse says, Spankle, there's more inventive ideas every day on YouTube than there is in Hollywood. Definitely. Spanky the Mankey, it's been a while, but good to see you again. Good to see you too, Jesse. I'm glad you're here. Spanky the Mankey. Nacho says, Daphne is an interesting case study. At first, she was just a girl who gets abducted, but around the time of 13 Ghosts, she developed actual personality. Yeah, she just and now Nacho, when I talk about Daphne, I'm talking about, of course, the original cartoons, because that's when I was first exposed. Oh my, to Scooby-Doo. And yeah, back then her character was just dull. Like you say, she was a perpetual captive. Gimster says, a VTuber named Millie Parfait was playing a horror game and was looking at clothes in game. She went from talking about clothes and underwear to straight up talking about balls at the end and laughing. Well, I've said over and over, I'm very impressed in general with the VTubers. Never thought I would be, but just have to admit they're very entertaining. Never thought that would be the case, but it absolutely has been. Hey, Kyle, good to see you, pal. Sarah says, teacher, what is 2 + 4? Kid, don't you know the answer? Teacher, sure. Kid, then why do you ask? Rosa says, Curtis, why don't you just watch hentai and jack off aggressively in public? Who says I don't? On either one of those things. You can blame your memory loss. You won't be held accountable. And you can masturbate in front of trains to assert dominance. I don't know, though, Rosa. The biggest issue I see with that scenario is if your equipment's not impressive enough, how are you asserting dominance, though? If the train goes by and it's just like, what the fuck, and just laughs, I didn't dominate. Ray says, we all secretly want a goth, dommy mommy, goth girlfriend. Yeah, like I say, I freely admit that I always thought goth was a hot look. I don't know if as an old man you're not supposed to, well, I wasn't that old when goth first became a thing, but if you're not supposed to feel that way or what, but I just think that dark look is kind of hot. It's kind of central. The Mario movie, Kyle, yeah, my reaction to the Mario movie trailer will be coming up shortly after the stream. I'll post it. It's all set to go. I just got to make it live. Evgeny, good to see you, pal. Tim Curry is a Scooby-Doo fan, yet he turned down a role in a live-action movie when he found out that Scrappy will be in it. Really? Really? Scrappy was a dick. I mean, he was. He just, and again, I'm going back to the original cartoon. But again, as a kid, I was like into it for the first few minutes. Like, oh, this is a cool idea. And then you think, oh, he's kind of cute. And then he immediately got annoying. Extremely annoying. Lick says, fun fact about Scrappy-Doo, he was really popular with kids during his show run. Really? The whole hated thing comes from the movie. Does it? Because I found him to be extremely annoying in the cartoon, where James Gunn hated him so much that he made him as unlikable as possible, that it would ruin his reputation and erase him from future Scooby-Doo content. Really? I didn't know that, because I told you, I didn't like Scrappy from early on. I'm trying to remember back. Yeah, I guess in school and stuff, kids thought he was cool, but yeah, not me. He just, maybe I've always been too overly sensitive to annoying characters, but that's how I saw him, just as extremely annoying. Poppy says, "Did you know North Korea has anime? Do they? They don't have much else. Not much in North Korea." Big Green says, "Yeah, I call bullshit on that. I don't know anybody who likes Scrappy. I didn't. I know I didn't. Again, I did for about 10 minutes, and that was enough. It just was so annoying. Let me at him. Yeah, yeah, Day Day." Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Rover says the first live action Scooby-Doo movie was down bad when you look back at it. Yeah, like I say, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I've ever watched any of the live action movies start to finish. I've seen significant bits and pieces, you'll be flipping channels or whatever the case may be. But with not being a huge Scooby-Doo fan, it was not something that attracted me right away. Lick says Scrappy hasn't appeared in any Scooby-Doo since the movie outside of quick Easter eggs to make fun of him. So I guess James Gunn went, yeah, apparently mission accomplished. That's an admirable mission then, to get him out of the series, as far as my likes, because yeah, he's just again, I know I keep saying the same word, but that describes him. He was annoying as hell. See, Poppy says a show called Squirrel and Hedgehog, a propaganda show with very racist undertones. Japanese equals weasels, and the Americans are wolves. Really, that sounds like something North Korea would come up with. I can't. Kim probably wrote it, because Kim is. You guys all know that he has godlike abilities. Because didn't he? He played golf one time. Now this is what they'll tell you is fact in North Korea. I don't remember the details, but he played golf one time, and he set, world records for low score and had like 6 holes in one. And so, yeah, I mean, if he had any hand in the process, I'm sure it's brilliant. Mr. Host says, remember the episode when they stuffed Scrappy into a food processor? No, I don't remember that. I would have enjoyed that, but I don't remember that. I like to know that exists, actually. Ray says, Velma was so hot in the live-action James Gunn movies. Was she? You think so, Ray? Yeah? I don't know. Again, I'd have to go back and revisit them to even have, or revisit the pieces I've seen to have any real memories of it. Zuchen says, I never liked Scrappy even before I heard his voice. Just looking at him already made me know he would be an annoying dog. And that he is. Whatever. Scrappy-Doo is annoying. All right, Poppy, thanks for being in while you could. Rover says, this is making me so nostalgic for Scooby-Doo content. I loved it when I was younger. Yeah, and the thing is, Rover, most of my peers, most of the kids in school with me and everything did love it. I don't know why. It just never really, as I told you guys before, when they would have I was a Harlem Globetrotters fanatic, loved them since I was a little kid. And when they would have them on, which became more and more regular, I would be right into it. But other than that, it was just like, oh, back in the day, there were only 3 channels on TV, and that was your only source of real entertainment because I wasn't reading a goddamn book or my comic books. Those were the only things. So a lot of times Scooby would be the only cartoon on or the only thing I wanted to see on, and that's the only reason I saw as much of it as I did. Kyle says Scrappy is more annoying than Brian. Ooh, that's close. Entirely different. They're annoying for entirely different reasons. Oh, more annoying than Brian? Brian's definitely a bigger douchebag, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about annoying. Yeah, that's a close one. Shelby says, didn't Scooby-Doo have a lot of crossovers, like the Ghostbusters or something? Yeah, they would. Not Ghostbusters. My era wasn't Ghostbusters because my era I was watching before Ghostbusters came out. But yes, they would cross over things quite often in Scooby-Doo. And Rover said, yeah, they cross over with Ghostbusters, Batman, and Supernatural from the top of my head. That's cool. Yeah, the Globetrotters were my thing, number 84. Yeah, I loved when they did that. But I always thought that was once a year, what they would do, Wide World of Sports was a huge TV show. It was probably the biggest sports-related TV show on at the time when I was a kid. And once a year, they would show a Globetrotter game. And I would get so excited for that every year. It's the only time, I would get to see them. My family never had money. It's not like we could go out and actually see them live or anything. So the only chance I got to see them was on Wide World of Sports. Man, I would be right there. Big Green says, the funniest crossover Scooby-Doo had was with the WWE. I heard about that, where John Cena fought The Rock. Sorry, where John Cena fought a rock. Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't seen it, but I heard about that, and I've seen memes made of that and everything. Kyle says, do you think Jack Black is going to do well as Bowser? Yes, I do. I think Jack Black has been good in pretty much everything I've seen him in. I think Jack Black is a quality actor, quality voice actor. I think he'll do a good job, yes. The Kiss crossover. I think I remember that, Nacho, now that you say that. Yeah, because Kiss got really big while I was in, what would it be, like maybe middle school? Yeah, I think I wouldn't have remembered that on my own, but now that you say that, I think I remember that. Lick says, actually, the funniest Scooby-Doo crossover was the Kiss one where the Kiss members, there we go, had Sailor Moon-style transformation complete with Japanese text. I remember something about Kiss in there. I may have seen that. You had pizza for dinner, Mortem? I don't know. My wife is gone for, well, just till tomorrow. She's gone for a few days. So my options are limited. I can order something out, or I can't cook. I wouldn't want to eat anything I cook. I suck. I had Elio's last. Ooh. DoorDash will be willing to bring me Arby's. I think there's a real good chance. I'm hoping that when I die, I've told you guys that, I'm hoping I die laughing here on a video. But if not, it's going to be from, arteries clogged from meat. So I'm always running the risk of, Arby's being my final meal. But what the hell? Life's full of risk. Let's do it. Number 84 says, I wonder how long it'll be before Chris Pratt starts voicing Mario in games. I think that would only happen if the feedback on this movie was really, really positive. But it could. Oh, Arby's roast beef sandwich. Yeah, they call it roast beef anyway, Rover. I've never had it 100% verified that that's actually beef, but whatever it is, it tastes delicious. You haven't tried Arby's yet, Kyle? It is some fatty, heart clogging shit, but boy, is it good. Shelby says, I'm doing Mexican tonight, but no margaritas. That last one almost took me out. Yeah, I can't. Well, any food with any spices at any level at all is just, I'm a bitch. I cannot handle spices in food. I'm a big baby. Excuse me. Mortem says my favorite meal is probably steak and chips fries. I'm there with you. Anything, any red meats. Yeah, I'm with you. I got to admit though, I've told you guys this before with being Disney nuts like we are. There's a fish and chips place in the England section of Epcot, and that's amazing. It is different than any fish and chips I had prior. I don't know what the English do that's different, but the way the fish is prepared, oof. Brax too. Brax can take it or leave it until we get there, but whenever we go to Disney together, him and I, at least once while we're there, it's like, let's walk around England and we go gonzo on a freaking fish and chips from there. That's good shit. You guys know, speaking to you, Brits, you guys know what the fuck you're doing with that stuff. Oh, that's so good. It's making me hungry just talking about it. God damn it. And I don't know, Chrome and I have been, when she gets a moment, we've been private messaging here or there. I haven't talked with her recently. I don't know what park she's going to be in today. I'm going to be jealous if she's eating. Well, Chrome's from Scotland, though. Fish and chips isn't going to be as big a deal to her as it is to me. Rover says fish and chips is the bomb. UK does it well. I don't know what we do either. Me either, Rover. I don't know why. It's not as greasy as I usually get here in America if I order it. I don't know. It just tastes so good. Luke says, we're just better than you at everything. It's no big deal. We kick your ass in gun deaths. Well, I wonder how long this stream will stay monetized. Repugnant Tone says, first time I ate Arby's was with a tequila hangover. Ruined the restaurant for me for life. First time I ate Arby's was... Oh, oh, you're in Scotland too, Rover? Yeah. Oh, man, so good. So good. Quick says the cool Curtis is to be born without the curse of being American. Yeah, that was bad, Big Green. It's free for all Friday. What the hell? If it hurts Susan's sensibility, so what else is new? I do that on the regular, apparently. Mortem says if you like fish and chips, you should try Urn Brew. It's a Scottish drink. What is that, Mortem? Oh, you mean alcoholic drink? I'm not an alcohol fan at all. Never have been. Alex says, yeah, but we kick your ass at knife crime. Hell, I got stabbed 15 times just walking to Tesco's this morning. I don't know why that was a great mental picture of somebody walking down the street going, ow, ow, quit it, ow. But actually, that's not even true either. Do you know that per capita, we have more knife violence than you guys do too? I looked that up because we were having an online discussion about Second Amendment. And my point to that was, that is clear proof that it's not a gun problem we have in America. It's a violence problem. If we've got all this violence going on with guns, and yet we can still outdo the countries that don't have a gun problem at all in knife violence, it's a societal issue. But the numbers, and it favors America rather heavily. Favors? I guess it depends on perspective. But yes, we have more knife violence per capita than most places, most allied places to America, basically us in Europe. Thomas says, Gordon Ramsay has a fish and chips restaurant in Orlando. I've been there. It was really good and the portions are good. Really? Oh, that would be interesting. I like Gordon Ramsay. That would be interesting. Yeah, just from having had the fish and chips in the England section of Epcot, I would be willing to try it other places now because it is so good. Again, prior to going there, that's something that's like, I could take it or leave it, but I'd only had American versions. Wow, what a difference. Rover says you get shanked and thanked in every queue in England. We're polite with high knife crime. Big Green says you have a gun and knife problem. Yeah, I mean, there's no question that we have a violence problem in this country. And that's why I get frustrated too with all the attention. Every time there's an issue or every time there's a shooting, all anyone talks about is what do we do about the guns? What do we do about the fact that people are killing each other? It's still the people. And nobody wants to discuss that. That's like a secondary thing. Well, if they didn't have that specific gun, it wouldn't have happened. No, it would have. We have a problem with crazy. And we should be trying to figure out why, but we'd rather just argue about guns. Kaiser says, does Iris do a dish with potatoes, sausages, and bacon and chicken soup called a coddle? Now, see, that's something I would try, Kaiser. And you guys know I have extremely limited taste, but you're talking, I like potatoes, love sausage, bacon's all right, chicken soup I like. I would try that. That sounds like something actually just by ingredients, something my wife might love. Hey, Philip says, hey, folks, my love life is going great. The cute exchange student from Hong Kong is coming for Thanksgiving dinner this weekend. Nice. That's cool, Philip. Congrats. I hope it all works out really well for you. Rover says there's a rage problem in the U.S. That's true. Road rage included. In the UK, you call someone a tosser in your car and leave it. In the U.S., they get out of the car and come confront you or honk. Yeah, no, you're right. That's what I mean. There's a violence problem here. We have a societal issue with violence. And that gets buried by the fact that anyone just wants to fight about whether or not guns should be legal, and if so, which ones. And it's like, how about getting to the root cause of the issues, which is that too many people here want to kill each other. Calico Jackal says, which pizza chain do you think has the best stuffed crust? I don't eat the stuffed crust, Jackal, because outside of pizza, Cheetos, and cheese popcorn are the only times I will eat something with cheese on them. I despise American cheese, and I can't eat anything like my wife, being an Italian grandma. She's a phenomenal Italian chef. She would make lasagna, and the whole neighborhood, the whole family, everybody would make sure they came over to try and scrape some up. And I can't even eat it because there's too much cheese on it. So what I'm leading to is I don't eat any of the stuffed crust because it's just too much cheese. Andrew says, Irish food is literally just Guinness and you can't change my mind. You guys are funny. Mortem says, we're not violent in the UK. We do like insulting each other, though. Yeah, I mean, I love my country, but I fully admit that we have a serious problem with violence here. That's a go-to for too many people, is to solve anything is just, whether it's stab each other, shoot each other, beat each other with sticks, whatever. But it will continue because the powers that be can get political leverage from talking about guns. Nobody cares about talking about actually solving or looking for solutions to the true issues. Irish Guinness is fucking delicious, Daniel says. Rick says what you should do is strap a knife to your gun, stab them, then shoot their stab wounds. That shoots both violence meters up. So basically bayonets is what you're suggesting, Lex. Philip says that's a British cuisine, you racist cunt. You guys are funny. Exactly. Shelby says, yeah, why can't we just cuss each other out and move on? But that's how things go here. Everything has to be for political posturing, and nobody's impressed by a politician who has ideas to execute, to try and understand what breaks in people's mind that allows them to kill a bunch of people. However, if you can come out and say, no more ARs, you'll get, the echo chamber will go nuts for you and you'll get votes. And so that's how we do things here. Daniel says we cuss each other out of friendship. Anime-themed restaurants, Duchen? I've heard of it. I've never been to one. I've heard of it. I know Japan has a few that, well, I want to go to Japan so bad, and I would definitely be checking out some of the anime-themed restaurants. Right, Rover. Rover's making a reference back to earlier in the stream. Politics would be very different if everyone did what the worms do and we settled debates by having dick sword fights. I agree. I agree. It might be the way to go. All right, guys. Speaking of go, I gotta go. This was a great free for all. Well, all free for all Fridays are great. I know I say that every week, but they are. They're just so much fun. Thank you guys for the conversation. We touched a lot of bases today. I mean, we had worm sword fights and the electric grid, and we were just all over the place. And fish and chips and Guinness and America's crime problem. I think we just solved every problem the world has to offer. It's going to be a boring rest of the day then. Guys, thank you so much for this stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. I'll try and stream as often as I can. Again, with the new schedule at the YouTube channel, it's tough. But if nothing else, Free for All Friday will always be here. But now, it's what we've all been waiting for. Come on. We can talk about foods, who likes this, who likes that. That doesn't matter. There's nobody that doesn't love sticky stuff. and there's a good reason for it. It's the penultimate. It's the best. It's the most awesome. The awesomest. And somebody do me a favor and get out your official Free for All Friday sticky stuff fanny pack and put a little aside for Chrome because she's at Disney right now and she couldn't be in today. So it's the least we could do. And I would save it for her myself, but I'm not good at saving. Here we go, guys. Pampu, pampu. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you back there. Sticky stuff for you over there. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy. As always, most importantly, never forget, well, it's almost as good as the England fish and chips. It's close. But it's goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.